Okay, we're live. Live, 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 live. Oh, right. It's still freezing cold. It's actually, guys, defending Elvis Presley, fans want the truth. It's actually snowing in the UK. And I reckon that's the first time it's snowed in the UK for 10 years. I cannot remember the last time I saw snow, actual snow falling in the UK. I'm near Bristol. I'm in a town called Weston-super-Mare. Hi, Lorna. It's actually snowing. So I've got about 45 minutes. So I recorded a couple of videos. I thought I'm going to play them you. Let's play the first, and it gives people a chance to join us. So let's have a look. Let me get them up. There's two videos I did. Let's have a look. Elvis Presley, fans want the truth. Come and help us defend Elvis and his bloodline. It's a bit small. On our YouTube channel. I see. That's the. Let's get the wider version. That's all. Fans want the truth. Is that going to work? Come and help us defend Elvis and his bloodline. Right. Okay. On our YouTube channel, we meet up every day, 2 or 3 times. Okay. Hi guys, Louis at Defending Elvis Presley. Just join our live streams every day. I think you'll find it extremely interesting. See you soon, guys. Thanks a lot. See you soon, guys. Thanks a lot. Aha. So I liked that because I like anything that makes me feel like I'm in the 70s. Yeah, anything. So like Starsky and Hutch. Yeah, Bionic Man, the Bionic Woman, the Banana Splits. Come on, guys, you tell me what reminds you of the 70s. Literally anything that reminds me of being home with my mum and dad and my twin brother and my sisters. I got 2 sisters, one called Vivian, one called Dora. Vivian is a year older than me. Dora is 2 years older than me. Yeah, Debbie, come on. We love the 70s. Even though I had difficulties with my dad, I still have such lovely memories of the 70s. Just sitting in my dad's cafe, because my dad had a cafe, yeah, watching all the lovely stuff that was on TV back then when we were kids in the 70s. When I was around 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, those years. Bionic Man was one of my favorite. The Hulk, I love the Hulk. Did you guys love the Hulk? Can you think of anything else? Obviously, some of us, the younger ones, will remember the 80s, like A-Team and what was going on in the 80s, guys. Yeah. So the music just takes me back. So I have found another interview. I'm going to play it just to give a few more people a chance to join us. Let's have a look. And then I'm definitely going to be reading some of these question and answers in Lamar Fike's book. And I am going to ask some questions on this book. It's not going to be a long live, probably half an hour-ish. So I did these earlier, guys. Yeah, I did these earlier. So I actually was going to turn these into videos, but it didn't work out. Right? Something distracted me. Now this is by a guy called Bill Bloggs, and he is interviewing. Let me pause it. He is interviewing George Klein. It's obviously quite an old interview, yeah. Probably I would say in the 80s, probably. So let's listen to what George Klein has to say about Elvis, yeah?
I'm curious if you're an Elvis Presley fan or just somebody who's interested in the role of Elvis Presley is one of the great pillars of rock and roll. This is George Klein. George is a disc jockey, a television host in Memphis, Tennessee. He was one of Elvis Presley's truly closest and original friends. Went to high school with him. Were in the same class between 8th and 12th grade. Was in 8 of Elvis's motion pictures. Elvis was best man at your wedding, and I'm sure to this day you miss Elvis. Oh, tremendously felt with him. Really was a great, nice guy. That's everybody I ever met who knew Elvis. I've interviewed actresses who were in movies with him. said that. And the real gentleman treated everybody with a lot of professional courtesy. He would go out of his way not to hurt people's feelings. As you look back over your friend, I don't want to dwell on the negative. As you look back over your friend, what one thing do you wish you could have changed in his life? Because obviously something went wrong. I wish that he had done the part in Star is Born opposite Streisand. I think that would have had a great change in his life. Barbara wanted him to do the part that Chris Christopherson did. Elvis wanted to do the part. He hadn't done a picture in about 7 or 8 years. It got bogged down between management and negotiations, so they backed off. But had he done that part in that motion picture, I think the electricity between Elvis and Streisand, he would have wanted to go back into pictures, more serious roles, and I think that would have. I mean, but just in terms of his health and his habits, obviously life didn't hold a challenge for him. I mean, he really became really close in a way. Well, in sort of a way, Bill, because he had 170 gold records. He did 33 motion pictures. He sold out everywhere he went. He didn't have a lot of challenges. The thing that was, he was a little bit bored, but I think he probably was going to play Europe, and I think he probably was going to go back to motion pictures. Yeah, which may have ultimately, hopefully, affected his health and his weight and whatever else he was doing. Let's talk a little bit about Graceland. Graceland, where Elvis Presley lived, is the second most visited home
Thanks, Karen.
in the United States. That's exactly right. But the first is not my apartment. It's a White House. So let's look at there. It's a beautiful home. They have a toll-free number, Bill. You can call them at 1-800-238-2000. Make reservations. That's the front of Graceland. Elvis's room is up to the right. That's an aerial view of the meditation garden where Elvis, his dad, his mom, and his grandmother is buried. That's his horses. That is the burning eternal flame in the meditation garden there at Graceland. How many acres is this? 14 acres. That's the trophy room, which is an awesome room. When all the entertainers come to Memphis, that's the room they want to see. That's a picture that Priscilla had painted of Elvis and gave to him for his birthday one year. You know, something I've always wondered about, I don't know if you have any contact or not, no one ever sees Elvis Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie. Very good reason for that. What's the reason? The reason is twofold, Bill. Number one is Priscilla wanted her to live a natural life. She didn't want her thrown in that showbiz trip, out there with showbiz people. And she wanted her to live a natural young life. Number two, she wanted to keep her away from the media, the magazines, because there's a lot of strange people in California. And so she lives. Despite the fact that her mother's on television and everything like that, she basically lives relatively, if anybody can have it in California. See, everything belongs to Lisa. She inherited everything. That's amazing. Yeah. We have a couple of garments here. If we could just take a quick look that you were kind enough to bring on. Let's look first. Tell us about this belt. Okay, that is one of Elvis's stage belts. He had 70 outfits, and they were quite elaborate. That's one of the belts that Priscilla wouldn't let me take with the really big one out, the one I wanted. And what about this cape? That's a gorgeous cape. Most of his costumes had capes, and he would make an entrance with the cape and then take it off once he got working out on stage.
Wow, look at that cape.
The spirit of Elvis is in those clothes. A little coming through. Thank you. What do we have here? Oh, wow. Don't Be Cruel. Gold record, RCA. Yeah, that's a priceless item there. No telling what that's where. That's Elvis, the gold record, but Don't Be Cruel. The original. That is it right there. Well, I think it'd be fun to get down to Memphis. I'll make it down to the Smokies to visit Lisa, and I'll come zooming over. Come on in to Memphis. I'll come zooming over to see you. I'll give you a personal tour through Graceland. Thank you. Nice to see you so much. Thank you. It's wonderful. Let me tell you.
There we are.
On Doc on Monday. Next week we have Gotek Swimwear. We have Joe Ski Love is here. We're doing the Pee Wee Herman on Monday.
Okay. You know what? It's funny because I just stumbled across some. I'm at the moment. I'm searching for vintage videos. I've got to be a bit careful because obviously I can get copyrighted, so I do have to be careful. So what I'm trying to find is something that is vintage that I think YouTube will be all right with, and that was one of them. What I'm trying to do with them is break them up a bit and talk through them rather than just post them. I think YouTube will prefer that. So I noticed one of the big channels has deleted all their videos. Have any of you guys heard of EP Fan Archive? Now I always go to EP Fan Archive. I always go to his videos because I think they're all, there's a lot of old videos that he's got, just very, very old vintage videos. So I enjoy watching his channel, and they've all been deleted, all of them. Have any of you noticed that? All gone, all of his videos. The shorts are still there, but I just found that surprising and a bit worrying, because it makes you think, oh, what? I hope they're not going to delete any of ours. So it has made me think, oh, be careful. Yeah. But I am allowed to post vintage videos. I am allowed to, as long as there's no copyright on them. So we've got to find that balance. But yeah, he, don't forget, he had like, I don't even know how many, 10,000 videos. They're just all gone. Boom, overnight, bam, gone. Pretty scary, guys, pretty scary. But his shorts are still there. He's got a great channel. His shorts are excellent. So I recommend EP Fan Archive. I recommend it. I think his name's Kyle Slingo. He's got a great channel. I worry, yeah? We love all the old stuff. I love the vintage videos. Love them. I love getting them, obviously watching them. Then I break them down, and then I do my little critique and review on them. I bring them on here with you guys. We review them together. I think they're brilliant. I really enjoy. In fact, let's see if we can find one. Let's just put. We're not even think. Guys, you tell me. I tell you what. Let's be funny. You pick a topic. Say a vintage person you'd like to hear, like to listen to. Obviously, to do with Elvis. Yeah. I have seen many of the videos. It's okay with me to see them again. I always see something I forgot. What I like to do is watch this. Maxine, what we do here is we watch them as a group. We watch them as a group. It does make it different. If you just watch them alone, it's a completely different feeling than watching them with however many people have joined us. I know there's not many on tonight, but sometimes we got 60 of us all watching an old documentary, an old biography, an old interview. It's interesting. Yeah, I think so. Is that Tino? Yeah. All right, let me sort Tino out. Right, let me just put a video on, and then we can sort. Yeah, yeah, okay. Did you say please? Vintage Elvis. So you put vintage Elvis, just see what comes up. You'll be surprised, guys. What's this? A 1970s Christmas atmosphere. What is that? Oh, that's the song. Let's find an old one that is not copyrighted. Ooh. Let's have a look. What's this called? This is the definitive.
Away from Fort Hood. We would drive.
Let me just put this on for a second. We played this the other day, but I want to get him a drink.
And they were so nice, and they just loved Elvis, and they just had a room there that they dedicated to him, and that he could go and just do anything he wanted to do. I remember one time we went there, and they had a birthday cake. I think it might have been my birthday. It was in May. And they sang the song, and I got him to dance with me. You know, he didn't like to dance. But, he was singing that song, Happy Birthday, Baby, Happy Birthday.
Okay, I'm back. Whoa. Right, that's it. I just played that so I could quickly sort him out. Right, okay, guys, let's get on with what we were going to do. So obviously that was lovely, Anita Wood. We're all big fans of Anita Wood. I wanted to quickly go through, because I don't have that long, some of these questions and answers from Lamar Fike. Let's check your comments. You know, sometimes I get the feeling that YouTube channels, am I the only one or am I bad? Oh, don't worry about your typing, Maxine. Don't worry about your typing. It's okay. We don't care about spelling mistakes here. Right, let's have a look. So we've got an old Lamar Fike book that was sent here by Ayisa. No, actually, no, this is from Linda. This one. And so it's question and answers. It's a conversation, an interview that was done with Lamar Fike before he died. This book was actually written after he died. We started going through this a little while ago. So let's do it. Okay, so we're just going to be a bit random. I don't have that long, but sort of 20 minutes-ish, but let's just give it a go. So we started doing these. We were asked. Let's have a look. It was asked. It's some quite interesting questions. Obviously, Lamar Fike was with them even in the 50s. You know, I'm not actually very happy with Lamar. I think he has said some disgusting things about Elvis, but he was there. He's got a good idea of what was going on. So yeah, I know that he's not popular, but we will listen to some interesting stuff. I do believe that. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think everything in this book is going to be true. This was sent to me by one of our members, one of our subscribers, so I think the least I can do is read some of it. Yeah, yeah, definitely Lamar Fike was very naughty, was very Highlander. But you know, we will cover all of the Memphis Mafia members, all of them, bit by bit. Okay, so the next question was, how did Elvis' extended family regard him? He was somebody to borrow money from. He took care of all of them, took care of everybody in the family. They borrowed money from him all the time. That don't surprise anyone. I think we've already read this one. Did Elvis have a lot of relatives on the payroll? Absolutely, but not towards the end. They weren't at all. He got rid of all his relatives outside of people that worked there at Graceland. He didn't have to put up with them because they didn't see him. Now, obviously, this is Lamar's Fike's tone. I can hear Lamar's Fike's tone. This is a conversation, yeah, that's been put into a book. So is that true? Did Elvis get rid of most of the staff towards the end? Yeah, Maxine, I agree with that. I agree. Lamar would say that Elvis was fat, but he was overweight as well, wasn't he? So Gladys and Vernon had moved to Killeen, Texas to be with Elvis during basic training at Fort Hood. What's the question? I think it's just they've said it. Then he says, that's right, Elvis rented a house from the local mayor. I didn't know that. Elvis rented the house from the local mayor. Did you know that, guys? Gladys and Vernon came down and moved into the house with us. Elvis had a white 58 Fleetwood Cadillac and then moved, and they drove that down from Memphis with a trailer, and on the back of it, a little small trailer. I didn't know that. So how long after moving to Killeen did Gladys become ill? That's a good question, right? They moved in late June, and shortly after she began to get sick. She was getting sicker and sicker, and first week of August, I went in and talked to her. She said, honey, I'm not going to make it. I said, yeah, you are, Gladys. Now, this is quite touching, isn't it? Quite sad. I told Elvis, if we don't get her out of here, she's going to die. She was starting to turn yellow. Her jaundice was there and the whole thing. But he wouldn't let her go until I got in a big fight with him. I said, you're just going to have to do it. She's going to die here on you if you don't get her back to Memphis. So he finally let her go, but it was a war zone. Before he got her out of there, we put her on a train. Her and Vernon put them on a train because she simply wouldn't fly, and sent her back to Memphis from Temple, Texas. I said to Elvis, just get an emergency leave. So Elvis went to his company commander and got an emergency leave. We flew to Memphis from Fort Worth and went straight to the hospital. She died 48 hours later. It was close. Flipping out. I tell you what, I'm worried about the amount of traveling she did. And the fact she didn't want to get on a plane, which meant obviously it was a longer journey. So what a mess, isn't it? Elvis is obviously in serving, so he had to demand leave, didn't he? Emergency leave. I think he threatened them, didn't he? In the end, they let him go. But all this traveling, and that she refused to fly, and that she was yellow with jaundice. The traveling couldn't have helped, could it, guys? What do you think? Gladys's parents were the first cousins. They were such good-looking people. Look at how Elvis got his good looks from them. Yeah, no, we have looked into the first cousin situation and the fact that that could have caused Elvis's chronic health problems. He could have inherited it from his grandparents and Gladys. We know about Sally Hoddle's book, Destined to Die Young, which basically blames the first cousin thing, doesn't they? You know, this alpha one thing that people talk about. So that's so sad. It's one of the saddest things I've read, actually. I wasn't expecting to read that. Were you surprised by Elvis's reaction when he found out his mum died? He cried, he came apart. It happened at the house. I had taken some girls and some people home. I came back. The grandmother Presley met at the door. She said, Gladys has just died. So I rushed down to the hospital. I took grandma with me. I came off the elevator. You could hear Elvis screaming and crying down the hall. Oh my God, this is heart-wrenching. Pretty bad. The day before I had gone and seen Gladys, we talked. She always cared for me and I cared for her. The next day, she just, boom, it was over. With that evening, it happened, I think it happened probably 11 or 12 at night. It was pretty bad for him. Pretty bad, my God. Come on, we all know that was the most devastating thing that ever happened to him. And Elvis never got over it. Really, do you guys agree? Elvis never got over it. Was Gladys's death the most intense emotional moment Elvis ever had? I believe so. When his mother died, it was tough on him. Real tough on him. In fact, he never really got over it. He never had time to grieve for her because he went straight to Germany. He took a long time to get over it. In fact, he never really ever got over it because he was so close to her. It was a case of where, you know, she died and he had to go. He got orders to leave, went to the funeral, came back to the army and went to Germany. So he never had time to grieve. It was just, you know, boom, boom, boom. It's true though, isn't it, guys? You think about it. He had to get back to serve his military service. He had to put on a brave face. You know what men were like in the 50s, 1959, 1958. You were very proud. You didn't show emotion. You showed strength. So he couldn't have grieved properly. Obviously, we've got those horrible pictures. No, not horrible is the wrong word. Upsetting pictures of Vernon sat on the steps of Graceland. You know, those pictures speak a million volumes, don't they? A million words, sorry. You see Vernon sat with Elvis and his arm around like that, and you can see how upset they are. I mean, really, they shouldn't have took that picture. That picture really should never have been taken. But then Elvis rushes back to the army. That is over with quick. He eventually goes to Germany, meets Priscilla. Before you know it, he's back in America doing GI Blues on the Frank Sinatra show. So I agree, he didn't grieve properly. I think we have to take this into account, don't we, with how his life unfolded after 1959, just how his life unfolded, even with this friendship that he had with Priscilla. You know, he was hurting, he was in pain, you know, he was grief-stricken, heartbroken. So I can see that he had this connection with Priscilla, even though she was very young. He felt he could talk to her by the sounds of it if Priscilla's telling us the truth. Because don't forget, the reason we think that Elvis felt he could talk to Priscilla and open up about his mother passing, about being insecure about his movie career, being insecure about being forgotten by the public because he went into the army. Well, the reason we're saying all these things, this is where we come into defending Elvis. The reason we're saying these things is because we've read it in the book, haven't we, guys? We've read it in the book. And not just that. Priscilla, in many interviews, again and again, has said, oh, you know, his mum had passed and he poured his heart out to me. He opened up to me. You know, I don't know why he chose me to open up to, but he did. Yeah. And, you know, he was worried about the movies and he was worried about being forgotten. You know, the Conaton Parker, blah, blah, blah. So we don't really know if that went on, do we? This is Priscilla's words. Yeah, Priscilla's words. We don't know the truth. We don't know what conversation Elvis had with Priscilla. We also don't know what went on upstairs. They say that Elvis took Priscilla upstairs. Did it? We don't know. This is the crazy thing about the book Elvis and Me, is that we don't actually know any of it. Are there any witnesses that have said they saw it? Are there any witnesses that said they saw Elvis with Priscilla kissing or canoodling? So we don't know. We don't know. Well, I'm sure some of these things did happen, but we still don't know. We still don't know. He was worried how he was going to get through life without his mother. Of course he was. Yeah, definitely, Linda. The one thing he was good at, Prissy and Elvis, was Lisa. Yes. Of course, we all adore Lisa. We all miss her. Do you know what? Grief is horrific. Yeah, you know, some of us have lost parents here. I lost my father when I was in my 30s. I just think you change, don't you? You lose someone, you change, you evolve, you learn to live with it. It's never the same again. We all know that. And I you know, even though I had a very difficult relationship with my father, I do miss him. I did love him. And I feel that he's around me, you know. So it's sad, isn't it, guys? It's sad. You lose a parent. Stacey knows. Yeah. We all send you love, Stacey. And because of a lot of us here are, you know, older, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, because a lot of us are older, we've lost parents. We have. It's very sad. Very sad. And Elvis was a human being. So he's gone through exactly what we've all had to go through, but with the spotlight on him, with the whole world watching him. This is what makes it very different, I think. I don't think Elvis ever accepted that he'd lost his mother, did he? Do we really? I think we all agree on that. Elvis never accepted that he lost his mum. Right, so let's go to the next. I actually, even though we're not big fans of Lamar, I actually find these questions quite interesting. Were there other times that you saw him come apart? Sure, but he never, to the same degree, never again. It was just, it didn't happen. That was his mother. He never ever came apart like that again. He was in the army. He didn't like that. We had to go straight to Germany. He talked about her endlessly. Oh, and I've listened to Charlie Hodge. I've heard Charlie Hodge's interviews that he was in the army with Elvis when Elvis was grieving for his mum. And Charlie Hodge said that he could hear Elvis crying himself to sleep in the army. And Charlie Hodge, to try and cheer him up, would sit with him and tell him jokes and make him laugh. And this is why Elvis had a connection with Charlie Hodge, because Charlie helped him through those army months in Bad Nauheim. It's sad, isn't it, guys? Yeah, Elizabeth is too young, isn't it? It's too young. 34 to lose a mum. Charlie Hodge said in Germany he would hear him cry at night in his bed, and he'd sit up and he'd talk with Elvis and would finally get tired and fall asleep. Yeah, and Charlie would make him laugh. Charlie was funny, you know? So sad, guys. Thanks, Dan. Welcome, Dan. I've lost both my parents. This is Maxine. I've lost both my parents. Missed them both so deeply. And Elvis, I know, Maxine. Unfortunately, many of us have. Linda says, heartbreaking to suddenly lose your mum. I couldn't stop crying for years losing my mum suddenly when she was 48 years old. It's too young, Linda. It's too young. Karen says Elvis's life would have been so different if his mum had still been around. We know that, don't we, guys? Deborah, Elvis' mum loved him deeply. Everything he wanted to give her a good life because he struggled. Yep. As soon as Elvis had money, he was there buying them cars and homes. So sad, guys. So sad. I wasn't actually expecting that kind of a question, but I still think it's something to talk. It is something we should talk about. I do think that, you know, we have to remember Elvis was a normal human being. Well, not normal. Actually, no, not normal. Elvis was a human being, a very gifted, touched by God human being. Right, let's. What were we reading? Did Elvis feel in any way responsible for his mother's death? Ooh, then that's a big question. No, he did more than enough. It was a case that he just didn't take care of herself. She just didn't take care of herself. Now, remember, we've discussed this before, guys, about her drinking. Some of you think she had a drink problem. Some of you think it's been exaggerated. I've heard things that in the 50s, people used alcohol as medicine. People used alcohol as medicine. So did she have a drink problem? Was she just very unwell? Had she inherited these illnesses because her parents were first cousins? It's not straightforward, is it, guys? Don't forget, they'd only just become wealthy, really. 3 years or something. Was it even 3 years? So she really was living in the same way as she would have lived in Tupelo, really. She hadn't been in Memphis that long. So yeah, look, she had fatty liver. There we are. If you ever want a song for your dad, oh, that's nice, Songbird. That's lovely. I hope I haven't missed any of your comments, guys, because I know this is important. So, was not a long-lived family. Elvis genetics, I guess. So Elvis and stuff like that. Gladys' side of the family was not a long-lived family, and we've all read about this. That many of this on the Smith side died in their 40s, haven't they? This is in the book Destined to Die Young, isn't it, guys? I know a lot of research has gone into Sally Hoddle's book, yeah? A lot of it has been taken from other books as well. Let's have a look. She was really nervous about him. She drank a little bit and stuff like that, but it was just did not take good care of herself. She started getting sicker and sicker. She had liver problems. That makes more sense because he's just said she drank a little bit. Because I'm not convinced that she was a raving alcoholic. I know that in the books they portray her as a drunk in the movie, in Baz Luhrmann's film, and I think even in the Priscilla film, they make her out to be as a bit of a drunk, which I don't like. I think it's disrespectful to Elvis as well. I don't think they should portray her in that way because I don't think she was. I think she may have liked a drink, but she had liver problems, serious liver problems, which maybe Elvis had. Innit? Maybe Elvis had these problems. So she started getting sicker and sicker. She had liver problems. That was eventually what killed her. Okay, there we are. So Lamar Fike is saying it was her liver. I heard, do we really know the actual reason that she passed? Yeah, so Billy said there was liver problems. His dad had liver problems. Yeah, they just, come on, you speak about Gladys in a respectful way. And when you make a movie, at least portray her in a kind way. Yeah, not as this person wobbling about, I didn't like it. In Baz Luhrmann's film, I may go against the grain, guys, but I'm not a big fan of Baz Luhrmann's film. There's many bits of that film I don't like. There are some bits I do like, and I do like Austin Butler, even though he doesn't look like Elvis. I do like him because I think he did capture an essence of Elvis. There was a sort of something that he captured, but he didn't look like him. And I just think the film was a bit silly in places. It was a bit silly. Like when they showed the Memphis Mafia, it's a bit odd. And even the Graceland scenes, they were too quick. I even find the bit at the beginning where the little boy is running around with the black community, I found that a bit odd as well. Just, I don't know. Sorry guys, if I disagree with you, but I just wasn't mad about. I prefer Kurt Russell's film. I'd much rather watch Kurt Russell's film. Much better. Much better. So again, Billy Smith said the film, you know, and come on, Billy has been squeezed out of everything, hasn't he? Billy Smith has been squeezed out of everything, which is such a shame. So Josie, I wonder where Baz got his information to portray Gladys and Vernon in that movie. Now, that's a good question, Josie. Now, remember, Baz Luhrmann kisses Priscilla's ass. I repeat, Baz Luhrmann kisses Priscilla's ass. So he really wanted to make sure that Priscilla approved of that film, which I think was his undoing. I know it was a massive success. I know it brought in new generations that discovered Elvis. I know it created a lot more new fans that discovered Elvis, which is great. That's got to be a good thing, keeping Elvis alive through these movies, through that movie. But I still don't like it. Still don't like it. I'm sorry, guys. I know that some of you may disagree. I love Kurt Russell's film. I'm a big Kurt Russell fan, and I love that film. Baz got his info from Priscilla without a doubt. There we are, Maxine. Which is why the film was a bit silly. I found the film a bit silly in places. And then they do the usual. As he gets older, they portray him as some drunken slob that is on another planet, don't they? They don't talk about the fact that he had medical problems, do they? Seriously, in Baz Luhrmann's film, is there one word of the fact Elvis was chronically sick, had serious medical problems that he may have inherited from his grandparents, his mother? So even with the girlfriends, why does Baz Luhrmann's film only show him with Priscilla? Yeah, that's not fair. Elvis had other girlfriends. Priscilla did some serious damage to Elvis. It doesn't show that she was unfaithful. In the Baz Luhrmann film, it doesn't. I think we're just going to have a chat because I've got to go in a minute. But it doesn't show in the Baz Luhrmann film that Priscilla, 3 months after the baby Lisa Marie was born, God rest her soul, it doesn't show that she was unfaithful with the dance instructor. It doesn't do that. It misses that bit out. It shows the wedding. Really, it should have gone more into detail that Priscilla, just after Lisa Marie, was unfaithful to Elvis and the damage that did. But instead it gives you a glimpse of Mike Stone. Now, remember, I've said it a million times, guys. Mike Stone was married. His wife was pregnant, Frances. He also had a small child, a small girl with Frances. So it just gives you a glimpse of Mike Stone. I think she stands, the person playing Priscilla just stands in front of Mike Stone, does that, and then they move on to the next scene. It's not good enough. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't think the girl looked anything like Priscilla in Baz Luhrmann's film. Nothing like her. Nothing like her at all. I don't even think she even acted like her. I thought the Priscilla character in Baz Luhrmann's film was terrible. Just my opinion. Sorry, guys. Come on, we need a decent film, a proper Elvis film that shows Elvis the way he was. Shows the proper childhood, shows him as a teenager, shows him becoming successful, shows the different girlfriends, shows the certain relatives that have been left out, the girlfriends that have been left out, shows that the problems between Priscilla and Elvis were both of them. Because at the moment, it's all Elvis's fault. Priscilla is the victim. Elvis is the bad guy. Why do they always follow that? When we know, because of our research, that Priscilla did some damage, did some serious wrongdoing, not only to Elvis, but to Lisa Marie. Because remember, when Priscilla was being unfaithful to Steve Peck, the dance instructor, which she's admitted in her book on page 262, she had a baby. Who's the baby? Poor Lisa Marie. So she, not only was she cruel to her husband, Elvis, because she chose a karate champion, which is the worst choice she could have ever chosen to make him look stupid and embarrass him, make him feel stupid, she also betrayed her baby, Lisa Marie, who could do nothing about it. Lisa Marie was what, a couple of months old, and Priscilla is getting in there with the dance instructor. Her baby's there in the cot. Come on, it's pretty extreme. So when people try to make out Elvis is the bad guy, well, hang on a minute. What about Priscilla? She's there with the dance instructor whilst her baby's getting her nappies changed. Not right, is it, guys? Not right. And Elvis is at home. She clearly admits in the book, I was at home with Elvis thinking about Steve Peck. She uses a pseudonym, Mark. I was at home with Elvis, this beautiful home that Elvis had provided for Priscilla, that he had fully decorated. He was very excited that a baby was coming. Yeah, wasn't he? He couldn't wait for that baby. We know the story where they went to the wrong hospital. Yeah, Jerry Schilling and Joe Esposito, they're all having a joke about which hospital. Yeah. And the truth is Elvis couldn't wait for Lisa to come along. And Elvis's thanks for Elvis Presley, who had committed to the engagement, then the marriage. I believe Elvis was faithful through the engagement, through the marriage, through the pregnancy. Her thanks was to sleep with Steve Peck whilst her poor little baby is in having her nappies changed. It's disgusting. Disgusting. And everyone treats Elvis like he's the bad guy. Out of order, guys. Out of order. So unfair, which is why we are called Defending Elvis Presley. It's exactly why we're here. Because the wrongdoing of Priscilla and some of the Memphis Mafia members is extreme and completely unfair to Elvis. I would say cruel to Elvis. Cruel. Lisa loved some. Let me just read this. Lisa loved the man who played her dad because she said a lot of his movements and songs brought her. Yeah, look, I understand that Lisa really liked Austin Butler. I know that. I know Lisa loved the film. I know that Lisa, it brought a lot of joy and happiness to Lisa, that film. Yeah, I know that. I completely understand that. I've seen the interviews. I've seen when she's with Austin Butler. One of the last times she was interviewed was talking about the Baz Luhrmann film. But that doesn't change my opinion on the different parts of the film that I thought were unfair. So does the Baz Luhrmann film portray Elvis and his mother in the right way? I don't think so. I think it's a bit silly. But I am pleased that Lisa, lovely Lisa, who we all adore and miss, that film did bring her a lot of happiness. We know that. We know it. We've seen all the interviews. Yeah, so Elizabeth, it didn't show how generous it was. It didn't show enough of the good stuff. It didn't show. It jumped through the bits, didn't it? So you've got obviously when he's a boy, and you've got him being discovered. Even that was too short. Then you've got him going to Beale Street and buying Gracelands, and then before you know it, he's on the '68 comeback special with the Memphis Mafia, and then he's got a drug problem. Yeah, and then poor Priscilla needs to find herself, and and a lot of the things in the Baz Luhrmann film I don't believe, because even the chair throwing scene, well, it's now been proved that she was walking through the door. Elvis didn't even know she was coming in. So that scene has been twisted to look as if he was throwing a chair at Priscilla. It's a lie. He never did. He never did. So just things like that. So unfair. Just so unfair. Let's have a look, guys. Sorry, I missed a few of your comments. Let me just see if I can get them. So look, no offense to the people that like Austin Butler. I like him. I like Austin Butler as a person, and I think he did an okay job as Elvis, but he don't look like him, guys. Come on. You don't look like him. But he's a nice guy. Prissy also said that she couldn't stop thinking about Mike Stone. She lives in, and Josie, she was seeing him for a year, for a year behind Francis' back, behind Elvis's back. She befriended Francis Stone. They would go for dinner together. Francis Stone even cooked for Priscilla. You would see them out shopping together. They would go to karate tournaments together. Yeah? You listen to Mike Stone's interview. You listen to it. There's a couple of good ones on YouTube now. And he's very honest and open. He tells us a lot of dark secrets. And Priscilla went out of her way to befriend Francis Stone. She made her mind up she was going to get Mike Stone. And no matter what it took, even if it meant changing her hair and becoming best friends with Francis Stone. Francis Stone, if you look at her interview, not long after her and Mike Stone split up, she speaks very well of Priscilla. She speaks very highly of Priscilla. Francis forgave Priscilla. I personally don't think Francis should have forgiven Priscilla. And I know that their marriage wasn't great. Mike Stone has said that they had problems in the marriage. But come on, all marriages have problems. If you got kids, you work it out. You think about it. Francis Stone was pregnant. You don't leave someone that's pregnant and you've got a 3-year-old daughter. You just don't do it. You work it out. All marriages go through ups and downs. You can't jump ship every time you have a bad patch. That's ridiculous. So Priscilla comes along and puts the nail in the coffin and she ends that marriage. Let's face it, guys. There's a good chance if Priscilla hadn't have come along, Francis and Mike Stone may have stayed together. Now, I would love Mike Stone to show regret and say sorry. He never has. If you look at Mike Stone's interviews, his interviews always make excuses for his behavior. The universe, the law of attraction, the universe decided. It's just bullshit. Mike Stone, if you ever watch my show, please say sorry, show regret. Say sorry, show regret. That would be nice. Priscilla Presley, if you ever watch my show, please say sorry, show regret, apologize for your behavior. You broke up Mike Stone's family when his wife was pregnant and they had a small girl. Come on. How often does that happen, that a woman comes along and takes someone else's husband when the wife is pregnant? Almost unheard of. Almost unheard of. And they had a 3-year-old girl. Come on. And then when you did decide to get with him after you were caught, after a year of having a secret affair with Mike Stone behind Elvis's back, you then drag Lisa Marie with you to a stranger's apartment and live with a stranger. Lisa Marie is forced to live with a stranger and then walk around, where was it, California, shopping, kissing Mike Stone in public in restaurants. Come on. Pretty extreme. And Elvis is the one that is treated as the bad guy. Priscilla is treated like the poor innocent victim that had done no wrong. Priscilla never admits wrongdoing. How often do we hear Priscilla go, do you know what? I messed up. It was my mistake. I shouldn't have done that. Never. Never. You might have heard it in the late 70s or the early 80s. She might have slightly mentioned the Mike Stone thing. One sentence. Priscilla never admits wrongdoing. It's always, oh, come on, it was Elvis. All the women were throwing themselves at him. He couldn't help it. That's the lifestyle of a singer. Oh, so it's not his fault. When really, it wasn't Elvis. It was her. It was her. It was Priscilla. Now, yes, when Elvis caught his wife being unfaithful, he didn't want to sleep with her, and he wanted to go and meet other girls because he was embarrassed and humiliated. So he didn't want to go near Priscilla. This lie about him not touching a woman that's had a child is a total lie that was invented, in my opinion, by Priscilla. I don't believe it for a second. Elvis already proved that he had other girlfriends that had children. So it's another lie, another barefaced lie from Priscilla. Thanks, Linda. Louis put up a post with just photos of Benjamin, and I said Benjamin looks so much like Elvis. It's scary. Someone said, no, he doesn't look like anything like. Yeah, I saw that, Lorna. I think he does. I think Benjamin definitely looks like Elvis, 100%. He's a good-looking boy, Benjamin. I'm gutted what happened to him. I cannot believe what happened to him. They have been so unlucky. I saw this beautiful picture. I think it was on Facebook, of Lisa, Benjamin, and Riley, and the twins all stood together. Yeah, and I just thought, how did that? I think it might have been at a birthday celebration. I think I'm just trying one of Elvis's birthdays. I can't remember. I saw it somewhere, and I just remember thinking, what happened? You had this beautiful picture of them all together, and who's left? It's like just Riley and the twins. It's like just so sad. So sad. Even Priscilla's done a runner. Priscilla's disappeared into the world of making money. Making money. Where's Priscilla? Making money. It just makes you laugh. Lisa was dumped with nannies and then into Scientology. And even that's a whole nother story, isn't it, guys? The whole Scientology thing. I could speak about that for an hour. We just don't have time. But even that is disgusting that that poor girl was put into Scientology. Priscilla was raised on lies by her mother, and she finds out about her stepdad much in later life. She probably thinks telling lies is normal. It seems that way, Maxine. We only the other day we were really catching Priscilla out on many lies. Like, we now know, because of the book From Here to the Great Unknown, we now know that Elvis was sleeping with Priscilla age 18. Now, Priscilla has always said that she was a virgin on the night of the wedding. Priscilla has always said they had sex age 21 on the night of the wedding. So we have caught Priscilla lying. For how many years has she been saying that lie? That she lost her virginity to Elvis on the night of the wedding. That she was 21 when they had sex for the first time. She's been saying it for 40 years. 40 years, guys. Priscilla has been lying for 40 years to the world, to the whole world. How many times have you guys watched her say it on different interviews in different countries? And all of the interviewers fall for it. They're all like, yes, Priscilla. Yes, Your Majesty. You are the new Elvis. You are the new Elvis, Priscilla. We're going to follow you around and take pictures of you. When you walk into a room, Priscilla, we're all going to stand up and give you a standing ovation. We're going to stand up and give you a standing ovation, Priscilla, because you shagged people while you were with Elvis. You divorced him. In 1972, you demanded a divorce from him. Remember, Elvis didn't have a choice in the divorce. She demanded it. She didn't give him a choice. Oh, and by the way, you were shagging Mike Stone for a year first. Then you got caught. Then you demanded a divorce. Then you went off and ripped him off twice on divorce settlements. You literally robbed him. Priscilla robbed Elvis. Yeah, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes. Oh, but after he died, wherever you go, Priscilla, we're going to give you a standing ovation. Like you are Elvis, and we're going to follow you around in every country like you are really special. Like you are Elvis Presley, like you are talented and you are a singer. And you can't make it up, guys. It is so wrong. It is so wrong that the way that Priscilla is treated around the world as if she's something special. Any Priscilla fans, come on. What's going on with you guys? See the truth. We're called Defending Elvis Presley because we want to see the truth. The world's gone mad, as Piers Morgan would say. He's another one. He's another one that messed up with his interview with Priscilla. kissed her ass for an hour. Don't understand it. Doesn't make any sense. None of it makes sense, guys. Can any of you make any sense of it? I just feel so sorry for Elvis and for Lisa, because remember, Lisa was a victim of Priscilla. I repeat, in my opinion, Lisa was a victim of Priscilla. Seriously. The sexual abuse allegations, that's another thing. Obviously, we all believe it because Lisa said it in her own words. Riley kept it in the book. We know, in our opinions, for entertainment purposes, that Michael Edwards, the actor, the singer, not singer, the model, the actor, sexually abused Lisa Marie Presley from the age of 10, 11 to 15, 16. It's an allegation that Lisa said with her own words and put them on tape. Riley made sure that she kept them in the book, and Riley has been promoting the book, and Riley chose to finish this book on behalf of her mother. So we believe Lisa. We want justice for Lisa Marie Presley against Michael Edwards, the predator, the abuser, and against Priscilla, because Priscilla turned a blind eye to it. Many of you feel that Priscilla turned a blind eye to it. So she needs to be arrested. So does Michael Edwards. They are jointly responsible for the abuse, the alleged abuse, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes, of Lisa Marie. Right. Let's just check some of your comments. Hi, Ayisa. Your timing is terrible. I've got to go to bed in a minute. Shh. Ayisa, how are you? Yeah, Karen, I understand how you feel. I wish I could come across her one day. Just the whole thing is just unbelievable, isn't it? It's just so much wrongdoing, guys. So much wrongdoing. I wouldn't go see her even if it was for free. Francis. Karen, she had no talent. Hi, Ayisa. Hi. She calls us E-Team. I quite like that. We're the E-Team. Ayisa, we are the E-Team. Let's have a look. Joe, so when Priscilla brought all Elvis's jumpsuits to Australia for all to see, were they original jumpsuits or fake? Gracelands don't let Elvis stuff out of Graceland. Good point. Obviously, that is a whole live show in itself, isn't it? This new situation now with EPE and Bridget Cruz. And really, I think at the moment, Priscilla has been kept out of it, hasn't she? Out of the mix. So Elvis Presley Enterprises do seem to be going for Bridget. But really, Priscilla is in that mix, isn't she? She's responsible. And at the moment, I'm like, how's that all going to go? Because we don't really know the wrongdoing of what is that has gone on with Elvis's things, do we? We don't really know. I know Rhonda at Presley Mania did a great show all about it. So, guys, I have done a thing about it, but it's not my thing. I'm not into the court cases. I will do it. I will bring you the updates and as they get released to the press. But it's more Presley Mania's thing, isn't it? The court stuff, the documents, the reading of the court files. It's not my thing. She does a brilliant job. Rhonda is amazing at Presley Mania, and I know Shauna does it as well, doesn't she? So we love watching Shauna do it as well. I spoke to a fan who was there with Scylla and came on stage at the book interview, and the fan said they were going crazy for her, and I said, why did you applaud? And she said she didn't. Yeah, and I've spoke to 3 people that were there at the Grace Lang's book signing, and people stood up and gave her a standing ovation. And they were screaming at the top of their voices. Doesn't make any sense. She shouldn't have even been there. She shouldn't have even been there. They should have got Prissy out of it like they did with Parker. Not able to use Elvis's name or likeness or anything to do with him or make money. So right. I fully agree, Josie. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to go. We've got it to an hour. I was lucky to get it going this long. So a lot of you will watch this later on the replay. Thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, I hope you've enjoyed what we do. Team Elvis, we are here to defend Elvis and Lisa and the bloodline. We do it every day. In fact, today we've done, I think this is the third live stream. We've done quite a few today. So it's time to go. I'm going to have a bit of dinner. I'm having some lamb chops and some pork bellies to go with my diet. So thanks, guys. All of you. Thank you for all your comments. Thanks to the new people. Thank you, Maxine. And take care. God bless you all. And I'll be back in the morning doing some more defending. I'll see you in the morning, guys. All the best to you. Sending you all love.